Stand up to an obstacle. Just stand up to it, that's all. And don't give way under it, and it will finally break. You will break it. Something has to break, and it won't be you. It'll be the obstacle. That's Norman Vincent Peale and his Power of Positive Thinking, the book we're going to discuss today. Norman Vincent Peale was born in 1898 in Bowersville, Ohio, and lived to the age of 95, passing away in 1993. Peale was active as the pastor of Marble Collegiate Church in Manhattan from 1932 to 1984. Now, for those of you who are bad at math like me, that's 52 years. And in those 52 years, he established himself as a type of celebrity pastor. Now, prior to his time as the pastor of Marble Collegiate, Peale was ordained in the Methodist Church. He received his master's in social ethics from Boston University. After completing his degree in 1924, he led a small Methodist congregation that quickly grew from 40 members to over 1,000 and earned him a spot on a local radio station. By 1932, Peale abandoned the Methodists and changed his denominational affiliation to the Reformed Church in America, where he soon started The Art of Living, a nationally syndicated radio program. As a part of his ministry, Peale enlisted the aid of a psychiatrist and established a religio-psychiatric clinic, which at the time was relatively progressive. In many Christian circles, psychiatric practice was understood as a product of liberalism that threatened the livelihood of the church. However, many health experts still denounced Peale's approach, and they kind of claim that his appeal to psychiatry was an attempt to shroud his work in the appearance of credibility. Peale helped found the foundation of religion and psychiatry in 1951, and it really reflected a larger trend. Congregations expected their clergy to be educated in the new literature of pastoral psychology. By 1939, Protestant seminaries were inserting psychology into the curriculum, and some ministers were announcing that serious pastoral work was making a comeback. Now, as Peale stepped into his role at Marble Collegiate, his personality and ministry fulfilled the heavy and conflicting demands of post-war congregations. According to the May Brown Profession of Ministry study, lay people wanted ministers with personalities. Clerics who were poised, tactful, and socially at ease, filled with self-assurance and enthusiasm, and able to, get along with people. They sought spirituality in their pastors, devotion to the Christian way of life, and this type of evangelistic zeal. But they also favored executive ability. Congregations still considered preaching as the supreme business of the minister, expecting that his sermons would be shorter, more direct than congregations were previously accustomed to, and Peale simultaneously embodied and produced the expectation of a pastor in post-war America. Which brings me to today's question that I'd like you to discuss in your weekly response. How did Peale's positive thinking help construct his congregation's expectations of him? And furthermore, how did Peale's power of positive thinking impact broader expectations of ministers elsewhere in the United States? So those are the two questions that I want you to answer today. How did Peale's positive thinking help construct his congregation's expectations of him? And how did Peale's power of positive thinking impact broader congregational expectations of ministers in the United States? For me, I can't help but think, if you're in ministry, how have you seen these expectations linked to Peale and the power of positive thinking? Now, while Peale had published 3 different books that experienced moderate success, his 1952 book, The Power of Positive Thinking, would go on to sell over 5 million copies worldwide. Now, understanding the context in which Peale's positivity emerges is vital to understanding its content, why it has success, and why it continues to impact the way that people navigate the world today. Now, by the publication of the first edition of The Power of Positive Thinking in 1952, America was navigating a world forever changed by fully mechanized warfare in World War II, right? They're reconciling the horrors of the Holocaust and the new realities of living every single day in the nuclear age. In World War II, an estimated 70 to 85 million people perished. And to conclude the war, people saw television footage of a weapon capable of leveling entire cities and evaporating all life in an instant. In the late 1940s and early 50s, people had to wrestle with the new reality that at any time, human civilization could be wiped off the face of the planet. Not to mention, national populations were now the currency with which nations constructed policies of deterrence. In 1952, Peel provided his remedy to the suffering of World War II, the Holocaust, and the anxieties of living in the age of nuclear weapons in the Cold War. It wasn't a polished theodicy that explained the nature of God or human free will. Peel simply provided very basic rules for overcoming attitudes of inadequacy and learning how to practice faith. He said, first, picture yourself succeeding. Think a positive thought to drown out a negative thought. Minimize obstacles. Do not attempt to copy others. Repeat, if God be for us, who can be against us? 10 times every day. Work with a counselor. Repeat, I can do all things through Christ with which. Repeat, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. 10 times every day. Develop a strong self-respect. Affirm that you are in God's hands. Believe that you receive power from God. As Peel's work grew popular, the United States experienced economic and religious revival. In many ways, it appeared as evidence for Peel's theological system. Even in the face of such incredible suffering, if a nation placed its faith in positivity and the favor that God offers those who embrace His power for their lives, the results would come. And seemingly, they did. The economy boomed in the post-World War era, which launched the U.S. to the status of superpower, and churches across North America grew as institutions of cultural exchange and communal connection. On a typical Sunday morning in the period from 1955 to 1958, almost half of all Americans were attending church, the highest percentage in U.S. history. During the 1950s, nationwide church membership grew at a faster rate than the population, from 50% of the U.S. population in 1950 to 63.3% in 1960. Countless reprints later, The Power of Positive Thinking is still widely read today. Just search it on Amazon.com, a company founded after Peel died, and you'll find that the book has received today over 9,000 reviews and carries a 4.5-star rating. Well, let's go ahead and dive on into our discussion of Peel's The Power of Positive Thinking.